Gonna need to fix that real quick. Well, anyways, what is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. I procured another soldering iron. I got myself the Pinecil. Yes. For as much as this cost, actually this was cheaper than a replacement pencil for my weller. I'll get a replacement for that soon, but I needed something to hold us over in the meantime. And that was our winner. Well, let me fix my tweezers up here from the destruction of last night's stream where we tried to fix that old pencil on that weller, and we weren't successful. But I'm not surprised. That was pretty well welded in there. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Got some fresh tweezers. Let's see, do I have the right size in here? Yes, I do. Let's get ourselves resituated here. I guess I can return these since I never ended up using them. Although maybe I'll keep them in the, like I was saying, get a new pencil for my weller. But that Pinecil is going to be nice. I only have a 20 volt power supply and USB cable at the moment, so we'll see if it can get hot enough to do what we need to do here. What do we got going on? We've got a lot of catching up to do after all those delays. Number 250, let's let them know that we're back at it. That is right. We've got number 250 here with no power. Actually, we told them last night we fixed this already, and we did not. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, that's right. We almost forgot our rubbing alcohol here to break down that glue. I have not even tried this this new iron out yet, so we'll see how it goes together. Oh, you were quite sticky in there, aren't you? I almost got a soldering iron that was made by the same folks that made my screwdriver here. But it was a fair bit more expensive and did not get nearly as hot. Or, not nearly as hot, I should say, rather it did not have as many watts in it. Sure, the iron can hit 500 degrees Celsius, but that doesn't mean much if you can't hold it for more than half a second once you stick it on an amplifier board like one of these. Alright, let's get up close. Let's do a little bit of maintenance first. We're going to knock those old filters off and throw some new ones on there. These are ceramic capacitors that are supposed to filter unwanted DC voltage from the audio signal as it passes through the amp and gets amplified, of course. But with Class D audio amplifiers, it's inevitable to have DC offset introduced in the audio signal, so what you're supposed to do is filter that with some, usually capacitors. You could use any kind of capacitor, really, but you have design considerations depending on what kind of cap you're using, of course. Space, how it fails, the conditions it's operating in, is it going to be shaken around by the speaker or not? That kind of stuff. How long do you want it to last? And then there's the considerations when they fail, because ceramic capacitors all decay over time and lose their effectiveness at filtering DC voltage. Apple decided to make the amplifier death fart when these go bad, but that threshold for death farts is rather high, and unfortunately higher than what it takes to cause damage to the amp and subwoofer speaker. So these filters can go bad before it lets you know and actually cause damage. Alright, here we go. Let's turn this sucker on. What do I got it at? 450? That's as high as I can go on this power supply too. That's okay. It says we got 21 volts. It's going. Hopefully this USB cable holds up. Alright, we're at 450. Let's see how this holds up. Very nice, I must say. That worked perfectly. That will do the job. Did not have any problems with it staying hot or sticking to the board. Let's see. Oh man, that's beautiful. Let me scoot that top one down because it's a little crooked. But that was the perfect amount of solder on there. That's nice. I'm very happy with my Pinecil so far. Let's get this dead diode out of here. Yep, it's a 48K. Oh no, 46K. Same date code, all the same to me. It's those 46Ks and the 48K date codes that are failing prematurely and causing these no power issues. Let's see if I've changed the settings on that iron right and it stays on long enough for us to slap this new diode on. That's quite a good one there. How do I turn it off? You hold the plus button or the minus button. Cool. I like that. I like how fast it gets hot. Can't complain about cooldown times. I'm not worried about how fast it cools down. Pleasantly surprised by my little iron. Let's get this back together. Let's get you guys a little closer here. There we go. There we go. That's sealed. It's a little tricky with half that other drawstring falling apart, but we'll make it work. There we go. go. That's some power. Up next, we've got Michael. After that, we've got a Nick number 186. Let's let these folks know. Let's see, 212. Where is number 212? Alright, Michael has been emailed. Nick, number 186, let's find them. 186. Alright.
I'm having trouble connecting to the
internet. I'm having trouble connect. Yeah. Alright. Michael, here we go. Let's get their name up there. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. No lights, no power. 5 watts from the wall, that's about right for a dead diode. Let's dig in. Cheers. Alright, time to come off. There we go. Yes. What is up? Just in time. That glue, man. And then the super glue for the thread locker again here. Looks like we got lucky with just the one this time. Alright, we've got a 48K diode on there. Nothing else funny. Let's get those filters replaced first. This hot air station's next on the list of things to get fixed or replaced. I've got a fan coming in, so hopefully I won't have to give it a smack soon. Should just work. And in the time it takes me to flex this board up, that iron's ready. Nice little jobber, as EV Vlogs would say. Oh, it's popping out. I don't want that. Well, that made quick work. All right, let's get a photo for, oops. Let's get a photo for the Twitter folks with our new iron in action here. Good job. Yeah. How about that? How's that? Oh, give me my macro. Yeah. Hide my nasty fingernails. Alright. That's a photo to Twitter. it has been tweeted. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at UnbendableStraw. It's where I make my memes. Alright, let's get this dead diode out of here. For 8K this time around. All the same to us. Oh, that's a screw to hold it in there. Oh, that's neat. I just realized that. That will help. If I can find... That's funny. I've only got Torx bits around here. Where's all my good bits? Alright, locked in. No more joking around. Oh, I just noticed that the screen flips depending on how you're holding it. That's really, really nifty. Beautiful. And off you go. It'll take a little getting used to, but I like that Pinecil. A little soldering iron is a good little guy. All right. Oh, your Hako's never gonna die, man. See, I'm not necessarily replacing my Weller with the Pinecil. I'm more kind of complementing it, and it's just holding me over until I suck it up and buy a replacement pencil for my Weller. But the Pinecil, it's nice. It's very convenient. It's really small. Easy to take with me places. The Weller's nice because I can just turn it on and leave it on for hours. But they pack a lot of power into that little Pinecil. And for how cheap it is, I had to try it. Ooh, ouch. I killed a vintage Internet Explorer lava lamp that was given to me by an old roommate's girlfriend, whose dad used to work at Microsoft during a move. I still beat myself up over that. I couldn't even keep the, unfortunately, the Internet Explorer logo on the glass didn't even survive. It was too broken up for me to bother even keeping the piece, in broken pieces. And I can't find another one. Something's not sealed. These gaskets tell the truth. They do not lie. They do not tolerate. Alright, let's try that one more time. Nope. I'm even gonna put them all in to know this isn't sealed still. We love to play these games. The what's not sealing game. It don't make no sense. coming out of the bottom. It's another one of these where the shell is not sealed. It's coming out of the power port. That's really annoying because now we have to switch all of this over into another shell. Why wasn't it a problem until now? Well, maybe it has been a problem and you just didn't know how good this thing really, what it really could have been. Or maybe it only became a problem in shipping on the way over here, but not so likely for this kind of issue. This is the second one we've found recently that's been like this too. It's a real shame. I'll take it apart one day and maybe glue where the hole is. Alright, let's get all this back out. Didn't really want to spend a whole bunch of extra time messing with this, but that's okay. We'll have to make the time work. Get this back out for our T6. It would fix the problem, but I'm not going to do that as a fix for someone when we've got the parts to do it the right way. Alright, well, let me mark this one so we don't try to use it. At least until we fix it. Alright, I will laugh hysterically if if this still doesn't work. It would be yours too. That's funny. It said, hey, guess what? Surprise. I've got something else in store for you. Hope this doesn't become a common issue. Gonna have to dig into that old shell when we have time and see exactly where it failed. And figure out why. Because if I see that, like if I see that one more time in the next few weeks, that's kind of concerning. To not have a problem for, not see a problem like that for years, and then suddenly we've got 3 or more cases of it within the past month. That's strange. A strange coincidence, to say the least. Got 2 more hiding around. Here's 1, there's 2. I know, right? We were making good time. Dare I say we were ahead? Yes, okay. It was definitely something in that shell. It sounded like it was coming from the tweeter or the power port, maybe. It should not, the power cord shouldn't plug it up. The power cord itself doesn't have any gaskets on it. We'll get to the bottom of it, just not right now. Yeah, the power port should be sealed from inside. It doesn't seal anything up from the outside. And even if plugging in the power cord fixed it, then there's still a problem. Because that means that the the gasket that seals it from the power port from the inside is what's going bad. Or the snap ring has come loose in the plastic housing, or like one of you guys said, maybe there's a small crack somewhere. Yeah, I might flex the plastic so so when you plug it in, it pushes the plastic together and closes the crack up. I know what you mean. I got you. All right. We've got power there. Let's get Nick up here. After Nick, we've got an anonymous no power. Let's see, number 245.
I'm having trouble connecting.
All right. Another one. No lights, no power, no nothing there. Let's get their name up on the screen. There we go, no lights, no power, a couple of watts from the wall. It all looks like the usual dead diode to me. Let's get it fixed. And I keep thinking it's got cracks in it, but it's just hairs. I know it's not my hair, I don't have any. Oh, I remember now. The last one that we had that wasn't sealing was from the subwoofer itself. And we did use a little glue to fix that one. Not much else we could have done for that one though, but it held up no problem. what is up with these today? Not coming out. There's a theme going on recently, and that's these are starting to put up more and more of a fight to take apart. Is it just how the materials are aging? Am I getting old? Oh shit, I am getting old. I stopped getting ID'd when I buy alcohol. I don't feel like it. In some ways. I mean, I do still feel like I got hit by a car a year ago, because I did. But all things considered, I don't feel as old as I look, I guess. All right. Let's get some new filters on here. Business days do not include weekends. FYI. I only work on the weekends because that's the only way I can keep up. But I don't count the weekends as business days. Maybe I'm alone in that sentiment. Oh, just beautiful. Almost. That's my fault. We waited too long. Not enough flux. There we go. Fantastic. Let's flip this around. A little more solder, or flux, I should say. Some new filters. Ready to go. I feel like these filters are getting easier with this new iron. Maybe I'm just placebo here, but I feel like those are easier with this other iron. I don't know how. because we're not using the iron to put them on, we're just using the iron to tin the board. But maybe we're just getting a better tin job. I got hit by an SUV while on my bicycle about 3 years ago and broke my collarbone in 2 places. Oh my god. Thankfully, I was much more fortunate. A few years ago, I was also hit by a driver off my bicycle. I was on my way into work. I was crossing a stop sign. There was at a crosswalk, and this lady pulled up in her car. We made eye contact. She stopped. I started going. She looked both ways and then just floored it right when I was in front of her. I guess she forgot I was crossing and saw that traffic was clear and autopiloted to go mode. Knocked me clear off my bike, bent my wheel. Thankfully, I didn't even, not a scratch. I just got up, I gave her a nasty look, and I kept going. I should have, maybe done something a little more to, I don't know, I try not to be a teach lessons kind of guy unless it's stuff like this. Vengeful, vengeance and revenge and all that, it's not good, whatever. But the car accident that I was in more recently was actually just about a year ago, January 4th, 2024. I was in my 1986 Nissan 300ZX. And let's see if I can find it. I was in my 1986 Nissan 300ZX. I was on my way to return the old alternator because I had just swapped it out, and I wanted my $20 core charge back. And so I had taken a different route that day, of course. But through no fault of my own, I approached an intersection. My light turned green. I was going through it. Cross traffic was there was someone that was on their phone not paying attention, and they ran their red light right when I was in the middle of my green in the intersection and T-boned me. Here's a video of it. So our light's green, I'm going, boom, she hits me. I spin around a few times. I can't open my door. I start panicking. And I remember I've got T-tops. So I pop the roof out of my car and I crawl out of the roof of my car. Of course, nobody stops to check if I'm okay because it's always the jackass in the red sports car that caused the accident, not the lady in the CRV SUV, right? So everybody's getting out, checking on her. I'm sitting there trying to figure out what the hell just happened. What's crazy is, as I was going through the intersection, the moment before she hit me, I saw her coming. And I had enough time in my brain to have a thought of like, why are you here? You shouldn't be right there. But right before she hit me. And then when she hit me, I don't remember spinning around, but I remember being on the sidewalk and crawling out of the car. Surprisingly, yet again, I came out pretty much unscratched, aside from being, the physical, being hit. But they hit me right behind my driver's door. I got incredibly lucky. Obviously, this car doesn't have airbags, so I took the whole hit. But they hit me in a spot that transferred most of the energy into spinning the car around rather than brute force changing my momentum entirely. So I got incredibly lucky. And I had owned that car for 10 years. You can go to my Instagram if you guys want to check out my story with this car. It's 31Zs. That's my guy here. But I bought that car about 10 years ago as a 5-speed non-turbo base model with the digital dashboard. That's the whole reason I bought it, was because it was a stick shift and it had a digital dashboard. And throughout the years I had modified it. I found parts for it, like those louvers. If there was a louver for that car, I've got it and it's installed. I've got the rear window louver, I've got the rear quarter window louvers, I've got the headlight louvers. I've got fog lights on my bumper that have louvers on them that open up from the heat of the lights when you turn them on. It's so cool. But and then I bought a whole bunch of performance upgrades for it, and I did it all myself. I got a big GT37R or 3071R turbo, ceramic ball bearing, of course. Oh man, that thing rocked. I got copper head gaskets, ARP head studs, 450cc injectors, NIS tune, and chipped the ECU and tuned it myself. I didn't take it to a shop or a dyno or anything. I figured it all out myself. And put a lot of money and time into that car. Made a lot of memories. And then some lady deemed her TikTok notifications more important than my life or my car. So, lost it all in a moment. Fortunately, she was insured. I mean, like I said, for all things considered, I couldn't have gotten luckier. She was insured, filed a claim. Unfortunately, my insurance, I skimped out, so I didn't have anything to cover what happened to me in that situation, only if they were uninsured. So I had to make the claim with her insurance, but they didn't put up much of a fight. I won, and I replaced it with the exact same car, pretty much. I found another 1986 Nissan 300ZX with the digital dashboard. The only problem was it was in automatic. Yuck. I didn't mind turbo converting and doing all the performance upgrades again, but I needed the power. I wasn't gonna go from a big boy turboed hot rod to this little 40-year-old automatic, 140 horsepower, whatever's going on under there. So I did my turbo conversion, and I bought my old car back I didn't let him take it from me in the first place. I said, you're taking this straight to my house and it stays here. And you can figure the insurance out with it in my driveway, and when you figure out how much you want me to pay you for me to keep it, you can take that out of my claim. And I only paid a couple $100 to keep the car. They valued my car at $8,000, which was way more than I paid for it, and more than I had put into it, frankly. So, in a way, I made a little bit of money off of it. Anyways, I loved that car so much, I had to get another one and move all of my parts over to another Z just to keep the experience going. I love the Z31 so much. And I'm just so gosh darn familiar with it. And, for a couple $100 to keep my old car and all of those goodies and parts that were on there, it was absolutely worth it to just replace it and move the parts over. And oh man, I only paid a couple grand for the replacement Z31. 70,000 miles on the clock. Awesome. I mean, that beats the 240,000 that my last Z was running over. And then I treated myself. I said, you know what? Having just the Z31 isn't good enough. And I bought a right-hand drive straight from Japan, 1989 twin turbo Fairlady Z. Sold in the US as the 300ZX, but oh, buddy. That thing is so cool. I can't wait to get that working again. Unfortunately, that's a whole nother story, but long story short, the new fuel injectors that I got for it were not good, and it hydrolocked the motor and bent 2 rods. So I had to pull the motor, replace the rods, and I'm struggling to get the motor back in. I cannot, for the life of me, get the engine to line up with the transmission. I've tried all the tricks. I'm by myself, and it's I just can't do it by myself. So it now it sits until I can find someone to help. Might just make a post on Craigslist, but I don't know. Or Instagram. A bunch of the Z guys on Instagram, they might love to come over and help if I give them some beer and pizza, you know? The classic. I still miss my other Z31 though. The maroon exterior color and the maroon interior to match. And then I took my dashboard apart and I replaced the green with red to make it all match. Oh, I miss that car. It's still in my garage, but there's no fixing that. And I'm kind of surprised that the whole car didn't fold in half from how rusted through it is. It did its job, and now it can rest. I want to buy a house with a shop so that I can mount the whole car to my wall as like an in memory. All right. I'm gonna take a quick break while this is booting up here. Okay.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the home app. I'm having trouble.
Beautiful. On to the next one, number 245. And then we've got, what the heck does that mean? Oh, that's supposed to be NP 192. Okay, cool. Let's let 192 that they're up next. Alright. What's up? No lights, no power, a couple of watts from the wall. That looks like the usual dead diode. Yeah. From the Z31 perspective, quite the happy ending indeed. From the Z32 perspective, oh, let me fill you in on that thing. So, right, got in the accident, bought the new cars. Everything's going great. The Z32, the right-hand drive import, only has like 90,000 miles on it. So it's coming up fast on its 100,000 mile maintenance. That's a new timing belt because it's an interference engine, and if the old rubber timing belt breaks while the engine's running, the pistons will smash into the valves and you need a new motor. So I wanted to do the maintenance to that car before it needed it or had any major problems come up. And frankly, as familiar as I am with Z cars and the Z31, and as similar as the Z32 is to it, it is also very different. Much less room, much more complicated. As I like to say, twice as many cams and half as much space. So I decided I would take the Z32 to a shop and have them do the maintenance on it for me. I have never taken my car to a shop and paid them for work on my car, let alone maintenance. There are exceptions, but those are stories for future streams. I always do my own work on pretty much everything, unless it's my body. You know, I gotta go to the dentist and the doctor to get them to poke me. I can't poke myself. Can't bring myself to it. Took my car to this specialty shop. The only shop in the state that specializes in Z cars. Heck, the shop's named after them. They've been in business for like 20, 30, maybe even 40 years, I think. They've been in it for a while. They have good looking reviews. So I say, okay, I'll take my car there and let them do the maintenance. No big deal. It was a big deal. It took longer than I originally expected. Way longer. Like a few weeks instead of a week. The scope of work grew far more than what I expected. I had taken it there for the maintenance, and what we ended up leaving with was the maintenance and a new driveline, a solid aluminum one-piece driveline, and a repaired exhaust, and some transmission and differential service, coolant flush, you know, the works. I ended up paying like $7,000 to this shop in work on this car that I had barely just gotten. That was also, frankly, driving and running just fine prior. It was all supposed to just be preventative maintenance to keep it going. So they eventually finish it up. They call me, they say it's ready to pick up. And I go and I pick it up and I drive it home. And I drive it around for a few days. And I notice that I have to keep adding coolant all of a sudden. So I start looking around and I find a coolant leak. And it turns out, when they had put the coolant hoses back onto the engine, they had routed the coolant hoses right up against the crank pulley. So the crank pulley was constantly spinning and rubbing up against the coolant hose, and it rubbed a hole in it. Thankfully, I caught it and I didn't lose enough coolant to cause any damage or overheating. And also, thankfully, I had actually bought a whole set of replacement coolant hoses with the plan of going through and replacing them all, since, you know, they're all old and originals. But they had actually replaced that coolant hose, so I had a spare one. Thankfully I did, so I was able to swap that out myself and stop the coolant leak. But that prompted me to inspect their work further. If they're dumb enough to make a mistake like that, what else could they have done or missed that might hurt my car or myself? And they didn't do a very good job on some of the wiring. I paid them to redo some of the wiring because I guess some of it was corroded. Just they had to cut it and crimp new connectors on. They didn't do a good job of that. Yeah. And the most concerning problem was a noise that was coming from behind the timing cover. It sounded like the belt was rubbing against the timing cover. But that went away. That went away pretty shortly. So I was able to fix all of their mistakes myself, and I continued driving the car for a few more days. And I'm out with my 1-year-old kid in the back. We're on the freeway. Traffic comes to a sudden stop. And so I slam on the brakes, like everyone else, and the engine just literally goes clunk, clunk, arch, and just halts right in the middle of the freeway on us. So I'm stuck at a dead stop in the middle of the freeway with my kid in the back. I managed to get it to turn over and start and run just well enough to limp it over to the shoulder. My priority was not keeping the engine in good condition. At that point, my priority was getting to a safe place so I wasn't at risk of getting rear-ended at 80 miles an hour by some jackass not paying attention and killing me and or my kid and or someone else. But managed to limp it over to the shoulder and took a further inspection, and it turns out, as part of the maintenance that I had paid the shop to do, they removed the cam gears and replaced the gaskets behind that. And when they put the cam gears back on, they didn't tighten one of the bolts all the way. And it had backed out and gotten caught in the timing belt and rolled down in between the timing belt and the main crank sprocket where the oil pump is, and it punched a hole in the oil pump and then proceeded to break the belt and throw the whole engine out of time and basically grenade itself, doing the exact thing that the maintenance is supposed to prevent by replacing that belt with a new one. So they had totaled that car due to shoddy work, lazy work, who knows. So I let them know. I was like, hey, I'm sitting on the side of the highway with my kid right now in the back seat because the timing belt fell apart because you guys didn't tighten something up all the way. And kind of surprisingly, they said, oh, wow, oh, shit. Let's get a tow truck out there and we'll take that car right back and take a look and see what happened and get that fixed right back up for you. And I mean, sure enough, they took it back. They diagnosed that they indeed didn't do the maintenance correctly, and they tore that engine down. They ripped it out, they rebuilt it, they put it back in there, and they sent me on my way again. Unfortunately, I found multiple mistakes again. They did, to their credit, they fixed a few other problems that they found that weren't caused by them necessarily, like missing bolts and things just not being attached where they should be. So they did try, but it's hard for it to matter when it doesn't. with the end result being the way that it was. Well, anyways, I did get the car back. It worked fine for a bit, and well, gosh darn it, I have these new injectors that I had bought for it sitting around that I was going to drop in one day, because the original fuel injectors are notorious for hating American gas and corroding and causing all sorts of issues. Are you getting the theme yet? I keep doing all this stuff to prevent issues on this car, and it ends up causing catastrophe. Those replacement injectors were not good, and they ended up leaking a bunch of fuel and hydrolocking the motor that I had just gotten rebuilt, that I had just had the maintenance done on. What a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. So here we are. I got the engine fixed, I just can't get it back in the car now. Oh yeah, people call her Bitchin' Betty. That's also one of my favorite features of the Z31. The voice warning system. I love it. I found a Japanese version of the voice module, and I swapped it out in my car, so all the voice warnings are in Japanese, of course. I need another one. Cheers, folks. Yeah. I mean, I cannot fault them. They took full responsibility for it and made it right to the best of their ability. It took them long enough. It took them like a little more than a month, but to their credit, most of that time, I suppose, was waiting for the machine shop, and machine shops are notoriously backed up. You're waiting weeks for your parts. You're waiting weeks just for a few hours of work on your parts to get done. But again, I don't blame them. Still, it's tough for me to ever consider going back to them. On one hand, boy, do I want to pay them to just put this engine back in for me and be done with this so I can drive the car again. Because I love my Z31 and I love the stick shift. But that car is slammed on coils with a stance. And it's a hot boy car. Like, it's not undrivable, but as a daily, it's starting to get old for how old I'm getting. Will be an absolute blast to drive every other day, but the heat doesn't work too well, and it's got T-tops, and of course the T-tops leak, so it's a swimming pool every time it's raining, and I live in Seattle, so it's raining all the time. So, and of course the garage is full right now. It's got a smashed up Z31 and a Z32 with no motor in it. So I've got no room to park it in the garage when it rains. I would really like to get my other car working so I can not freaking suffer every time I gotta go anywhere. But you know, at the same time, these are kind of the problems that I made for myself. I chose to you know, buy and drive these cars. I could sell them and I could get a Toyota Camry. Or something else. But I love these cars, and I'll suffer for them. It's worth it. And like, it's worth it to, I mean, as silly as it sounds, but like, I love talking to people about it. Like when people come up and they're like, oh wow, I didn't know people still kept these things going. And then when I get to blow their mind about all the work that's been done to it and all the goodies under the hood, they love it. Kids are always riding by on their bicycles and stopping and taking pictures. I've got two-step and anti-lag and no-lift shift, so it makes the fun sounds that everyone wants to hear when you go. I call it my little Tesla tickler. Because Teslas can't catch me. Oh, I love messing with people. I will admit. Not like cutting people off and being dangerous and all that, what have you, but I love to surprise people when I pull up on them with my 40-year-old Z car. And they don't expect it to have 500 plus horsepower. The satisfaction of being able to build something in your garage faster than a Tesla, that's some satisfaction right there. And I'm roughly estimating the power figures. Like I said, I never took it to a dyno. I do it all myself. And I've only been beat so far by a frickin' Hellcat. I must go faster. I must make it faster. I need bigger injectors. I am absolutely maxing out my injectors right now, but I am far from maxing out my turbo. I'm only pushing 10 to 15 pounds of boost right now. And that turbo is made for like 25, 30 psi up there. Like really up there. We've got room. But rear-wheel drive is really sketchy once you start making more power. And you're moving. And when you're real hauling. Like you can't just floor it. You gotta modulate the throttle a little bit. Cause like in third and fourth gear, sometimes even in fifth gear, if I'm going fast enough, if I floor that car, if I'm going highway speeds, it'll still, it'll kick out from under you. Oh, it's so funny taking corners in that car too, because the suspension is set up really nice in it. And there are a surprising number of Cybertrucks around here. And they think they're so hot until I pass their ass. And then they get all salty. My Cybertruck was supposed to be faster than a Porsche while pulling a trailer. What is this? No hate on any of you if you own any Teslas. I would love to have one myself personally. I won't lie. But there are two main things keeping me from owning a Tesla. One is the cost. I'm not going to spend that kind of money or make payments on a car. So, when Teslas get to the point where there's used ones as much as, for as cheap as any other used gasoline car, for example, you can hop on Craigslist, Facebook, whatever, get yourself a good used economy car for under 10 grand, easy peasy. When I can do that with a decent Tesla, I might consider it. But the second point's also what's keeping me. And that's that one guy that owns that company. Something about him just doesn't sit right with me. Now, if I had an unlimited budget, I'm not saying Tesla would be my first choice. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind owning one. In addition to reasons why I don't actively seek purchasing one. But it's not my first choice for an electric vehicle. My first choice for electric vehicle, if there's no budget, hands down is Lucid. Give me a Lucid. The quality is there, the performance is there, it's all there with the Lucid. And they look cool. If I have a budget, if I'm, in the market for a new car, but I'm not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on it, I would consider the Rivians. I would go Lucid, Rivian, Tesla, and then of course Fisker at the bottom. But, hey, I would happily pay a couple grand for a broken Fisker and fix it up for myself. All right. Where is my mouse? There it is. Let's find Kurt, number 260, and let them know that they are coming up next year. All right, Kurt has been emailed.
I'm having trouble connecting.
245 is in great shape. Here we go. What do we got? Oh yeah, let's switch the names up on the screen while we're here. We've got number 192 up here now. Up next is Kurt. Let's see what this one is doing. No lights, no power, no nothing here. Couple of watts over there. That looks like the usual dead diode to me. Ooh, the Taycan. Oh, I love and hate the Porsches, but I would definitely put the Taycan further up there than the Teslas. That's absolutely for sure. Porsche has some of the best quality, and surprisingly, to some of you, maybe some of the best reliability out there too. Of course, that's not a general statement to be applied to all their cars, but they have a pretty good reliability history. At least until the past few years. I can't speak for their more recent models. Them and Lexus were top dogs, but Toyota kind of slipped up with a few engine recalls recently, so that kind of messed them up. Who recently took the spot for most reliable? It was who was it? I can't remember. The Porsche Taycan in that like that baby blue, that like sky baby blue. Oh, just perfect. Absolutely perfect. But we're not gonna be affording one of those around here. Not working in this kind of market. People aren't making millions fixing stuff, but that's not why we're here. And as much as I would like to drive around in a Porsche Taycan, I'm not gonna stress myself out about trying to find a job that'll pay for one. I need it. No, I'm just kidding. I love my Z cars. And if I can get the other one going again, gosh darn it, I'll love them even more. Until it blows up again, and then I'll hate it. Toyota wasn't the only one with the shotgun airbags. Actually, my wife's Audi was part of that recall. And what's really scary is it was only a few weeks before that airbag recall was issued that I was involved in another motor accident in my wife's Audi that had one of those shotgun airbags, the Takata airbags. I was involved in another accident. I was turning around and someone wasn't paying attention and tried to go around me and ended up T-boning me at 40 miles an hour. And thankfully they T-boned me. It was no front collision, so the front airbag didn't go off. And it was that airbag. It was the one airbag in the whole car that didn't go off. That was part of the recall. And then a few weeks later, I get the letter in the mail that Audi would like to replace the airbag in my car so I don't die from an accident with it exploding in my face, sending shrapnel all over me. Good stuff. I did keep that car. You know what's funny with that accident? When that happened, I towed that car home, and no one from anyone's insurance ever took a look at that car. And it wasn't totaled either. That car should have absolutely been totaled. The driver's door was smashed in, the CV axle was snapped, the frame was bent, but the insurance surprisingly didn't total it, let alone even send anybody out to look at it. So what I did was I fixed it back up, I replaced the CV axle, I replaced the door, and I drove it around with a bent frame for like a few more years. And then I sold it to someone else. With the full disclaimer of everything that happened to it, of course. That car was perfectly fine when I sold it. And then I get a call from the dude that bought it like 3 days later. And he's like, yo. I gave the car to my kid, and he said he's stuck on the side of the road and the transmission's broken. It's not moving anywhere. And I basically said, LOL, you're on your own. I don't know what you expect me to do about it, but you just gave a hot hatch to your kid, and it promptly stopped working. Sorry, but, you know, what do you expect? What do you want me to do? What do you really want me to do in that situation? Do you expect me to buy the car back from you and like trust that your kid didn't just drive it like an idiot and break it and take the loss? No. Unfortunately, I'm going to do to you what I would expect someone to do to me in that situation, which is tell me tough luck, figure it out yourself. Basically. You know, especially for the price they paid for that car. They only paid $2,000 for that car, and it was in great shape, all things considered. And then they want to give me a bunch of, oh, the transmission's not working anymore. Well, maybe you need to discipline your child a little bit. I've been there. It was his first car. It was his first car that he was buying for him. I mean, I think you should buy your kid a car that wasn't involved in an accident as their first car, but I'm not your parent. I'm not your legal guardian. So, they still wanted it. And, you know, as soon as you really want the car and then you turn around and you say it's broken, something smelled kind of fishy. I don't know. I don't know. I do feel bad. Like, it's not without remorse. Like, I feel awful that if in fact they you know, this was all just coincidence. But the likeliness of the 2006 Audi A3 2-liter turbo automatic with a DSG with only 130,000 miles and a perfect track record suddenly blowing up its transmission within less than 20 miles and 3 days of selling it to someone else, I am not buying it. I beat the shit out of that car. I drove the piss out of it. And if it didn't break when I was driving it, you're doing something wrong if it breaks when you're driving it. You must have done something seriously wrong, or you're trying to pull a fast one on me. Or you just got incredibly unlucky. And the transmission was indeed on its way out. But I gave you, I let you test drive it. I let you drive it however you wanted and do whatever you wanted with it before you decided to purchase it. And all the best of luck to you. I never heard from him again. I basically said it worked fine for me before. Your kid probably broke it. And I never heard back from him. But it's like, don't just text me out of nowhere and be like, hey, the transmission stopped working without at least, like, what do you want me to do about it? You want me to go over there and take a look at it? You want to bring it over to my house? I can try to figure it out. Grill your kid. Figure out what happened. When I got my first car and I broke it, I was driving way too recklessly. But I drove over a pothole and I punched a hole in my transmission pan. I made it home without a problem. I didn't even notice. I made it home, and it wasn't until the next day that I tried to drive it that, of course, it didn't go any. Oh, wife is home. Let me help her bring your kid in. Oh, forgot the microphone. There we go. Alright. Oh, let me finish that. That's a little uneven still. Do I need a microscope to fix these components? I personally do not. But my eyesight is a little better than average. I honestly find it easier to use my naked eye to work on most of this stuff than look at it through a microscope or a computer screen. I don't know. This diode here especially, you really don't need a microscope. It's big enough for the naked eye, for sure. But the stuff around it, you might need a microscope to know that you're not bumping it and sliding it around. It's still on. It's doing pretty good. Got some rogue balls there. Let's fix that up. Oh. Oops. We ripped that whole capacitor off. Oh no. Oh no. What does that capacitor connect to? We're gonna have to add a trace wire. The top of that cap goes to okay, so the top of this cap goes to that pin on the step down. Do we have any signs of life from that? No, it's gone. Okay, no big deal. We can fix it. Here's what we do. Get a little bit of solder. A little bit of solder put in there. A little more flux. The bottom pad for this capacitor is still there, but the top one's gone. So what we will do first is put a new cap there. And then we'll run a trace wire to where the other end of that cap should go to the step down nearby. Is there a limit to how many HomePods the Home app will let you have? Not as far as I know. Theoretically unlimited. I mean, if you want to know how many at most I've had at once, it's been at least 50 or 60 in a single home. Alright, that didn't stick. I'm gonna have to try that again. Did that stick? Yeah. Alright, so we've got our cap there. We need some trace wire. It's way too long. We need to shorten it. It's still too long. That'll work. Yeah, this one's kind of not working. Let's try another. Try another one here. Let's try a different way. It's tricky. You know what? We're going to do the other workaround instead. Here's how we do it. We get a bigger capacitor. Physically larger, that is. I'm going to solder that onto a trace wire. There we go. Let's get the other side of it. And what we do is we run this trace wire to the bottom of this Schottky and the other side of this trace wire to our step down. So let's see how long we need to make that. See, something like that should do it. We'll do it like this. All right, we have worked around it. It's not pretty, but it's functional. It's not going anywhere. Oof. Okay. Let's put this back together. All right.
I'm having trouble connecting. I'm having trouble.
All right. Kurt, here we are. Kurt with no power. After that, we've got just 3 more, at least for today. No lights, no power, a couple of watts from the wall. We all know what that means by now, right? Yes, I'm so sorry for the disappointment. I'm about 2 days behind on everything right now. And my soldering iron breaking was not good timing. Which one was yours? No power? Oh, that's right. Oh, you have the... Hold on. Hold on, Mike. You know what? I think we can squeeze this in before we go today. A whole pod? No way. But I forgot. You sent just the amp in. That'll be easy peasy. Well, hopefully. Hopefully. Subwoofer smells fine. How old the pods are when I get them apart. I can't tell just from the insides. There used to be a website where you could plug in the serial number of any Apple device, and it would tell you the date it was manufactured. But I haven't been able to find that site in like the past year or so. I wonder if it even got taken down. Technically there's a way to tell when it was made by the serial number. You can decode the serial number and it'll tell you. But there were only 2 production runs for the first gen anyways, and they were in series, so. Yeah, it was just this, it was a pretty basic, just mostly black and white, plain website. You had to enter a CAPTCHA every time you wanted to decode a serial number, but it was real handy. Not every Mac. It was something else. Oh yeah. Every single first gen HomePod, be it new, refurbished, what have you, they were all from the same production runs. And just put into different boxes. And they waited. They waited until they showed up at your door. There we go. Beautiful. Every time. The perfect amount every time. I love my Pinecil. Good little iron. Great deal. And there were no differences between the 2 production runs anyways, so it wouldn't really mean anything. Here we go, let's try not to make too much work for ourselves this time. We've got a 46K dated diode there. Yeah, thanks for dropping by again, Jason. Hope to see you again soon. Hope your collarbones feel better too. Apparently I'm missing a screw for the amplifier. Just steal one from my pile. Yeah, gave it a good shake. It's not in there. It probably stuck to my clothes or one of my screwdrivers and fell out. Happens a lot here. I'll give it a good shake when I get it back. All jokes aside, if it's loose in there, you're not going to hear it when you get it and shake it around, because chances are it'll stick to the big fat magnet on the bottom of the subwoofer. And I know that for sure because like 2 years ago, we had 2 HomePods from someone, I think. And we forgot to tighten the screws for the power supply in one of them. And of course it worked fine for us, but what was funny is I shake all of the HomePods before I pack them up and ship them out, just to make sure there isn't anything rattling around inside that I didn't catch, like in testing or anything. And when I shook their HomePod around, I didn't hear anything rattling around, and it tested fine. So I figured we were all good to go. Send it back. When they get it back, they said it doesn't turn on at all again. And I'm like, oh shit, what'd I miss? I tested it. It tested working here after we fixed it. So what changed? it turned out, yep, I didn't tighten the power supply screws, and the power supply came off the amplifier board on the way back to him. But the funny thing was, when I checked by shaking it, and like I said, I didn't hear any shaking. But that's because the screws for the power supply had gotten pulled into the subwoofer magnet and stayed there. So of course I wouldn't hear anything. It took the force of it took the G-force of UPS shipping to knock it loose. Ah! Ah! None of these HomePods are playing nice today, huh? Every single one of them wants to give us some kind of problem along the way today, huh? No, actually I take that back. The first one that we worked on was pretty smooth. No issues there. That second one had something not sealing in the shells, so we had to take it all back apart and swap that out. And then we had the last one with the little cap that broke off, so we had to work around it with some trace wires and a bigger cap. Yeah, I can't complain if it's just a little bit of drawstring troubles. I'd rather deal with that than have to swap it all out.
having trouble connecting to the. I'm having trouble connecting. I'm having.
Alright, we move on to John. Kurt is all fixed. Jogging. We want John here. Alright. No lights, no power, no nothing other than a few watts from the wall. Here we go. John is here. He has made it. Welcome, welcome. Have I kept track of how many I've fixed? I've got a vaguely accurate estimate of about 3,200 right now. Or about 3,300 right now. That's a lot more than 500, yeah. If only I was allowed to keep every single one that we fixed here. We'd be sitting on retirement. Yeah, exactly. They can't sue me. They'd have to sue Nick's Fix LLC. That's the LLC part, is limited liability. Can't touch me. You can touch my company. All those people donated their HomePods and a little bit of cash, officer. They just said, here's a little bit of money to... it's a recycling fee. You weren't paying me to fix your HomePod, you're paying me to recycle it. What, you wanted it back? That's gonna cost you. What model is the pencil iron? It's called the Pinecil. It's the Pinecil V2. It's the only one that you can find if you search for pencil, but spelled with pine, like the pine tree. No! Oh, these stupid freaking super glue for thread locker. Apple, hello. Not cool. Alright, well, we stripped the shit out of that. I'll just replace it with another one. Let's see here. Apple, take notes. Super glue, not thread locker. Goodness. 3 more that are still working. Yeah, I'm not surprised, John. I mean, despite how many that we've fixed here, we're still well under the, like, a concerning amount of HomePods out in the wild that are broken. Like, as far as acceptable number of units to fail, as far as a mass-produced consumer product, you want to keep that number under 1%. And if Apple sold 1.5 million to 3 million of these first gens, that means we'd have to fix at least 10 to 30,000 of these before we're actually talking about a widespread problem that affects the majority of them, or could potentially affect the majority of them. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I almost forgot. Cheers. Okay. I actually don't think there would be enough room in my home for that many HomePods if I kept all the ones I fixed. Because I only live in an 1600 square foot flat. Rambler kind of thing. I don't know what you call it. Single story. It's not big. And if each HomePod took up, if we generously gave each HomePod 1 square foot of space, then obviously I'd only have room for about 1600 HomePods. But at the same time, that's not considering building vertical too. If we went vertical, we could fit a bunch more. But yeah, don't go breaking into my house thinking I've got thousands of HomePods here. I don't. Unfortunately, I am quite far away from my life goal of 500 of these. Just because I end up having to break ones down for parts or sell them as refurbs faster than I can collect them. I've only got, and I say only, I've only got like 10 or 15 for myself at the moment. Embarrassingly low. Let's get that diode out of here. HomePod mini ball pit. I like the sounds of that. Ooh, and I bet you Apple releases a new mini. Everybody's going to be getting rid of their first gen minis. Send them to me. I'll gladly take your old mini. I know, right? So much for 500 HomePods. But I mean, I can't in good conscience hog so many of them when there are so many that need to be fixed, and the day will come when people don't want to buy any more first gens. That's when I'll hog them all. But for a while I didn't sell any refurbs, and I had quite a few for myself, like 50. I had like 50 of them. And people kept asking, can I buy a refurb? Please let me buy a refurb. I was peer pressured. Do I have any minis? I've got 1 mini in the bathroom and 3 minis in the guest room. And then I've got 4 at my desk at the office, along with an OG. I think the minis sound fantastic for the size. Once again, just like the OG, you'd be hard pressed to find a speaker that sounds better than it for the size. And then the fact that you can just place it anywhere and it sounds just as good. It's perfect for places like the bathroom or the garage or the office, you know, places where it might get dirty, or you'd feel less bad about a mini going missing than a full-sized HomePod. Not that I'm worried about any of my HomePods going missing at my office. I work at a pretty good place and all those guys are awesome. So, I actually have my Wi-Fi password up for anybody that wants to play music to them whenever I'm not in, because I'm only in the office once or twice a week. And I got all these speakers at my cube. You regret getting white? Oh, interesting. I like the white. I like both colors. I don't have a preference for one or the other. I think the white looks prettier. The black feels a little more functional. I regret being white. Hey now. I get it, but you didn't do anything. You yourself didn't do anything wrong. Don't beat yourself up too much. But don't use that as an excuse to take opportunities from other people. And we'll leave it at that. Oh, right next to your espresso machine? Yeah, that'll, actually. Oh, this is John's. This isn't Kurt's. Kurt's. You know, your HomePod looks to be in fantastic shape considering it sits next to a coffee machine. I wouldn't have been able to notice or tell. It looks fine to me. Looks pretty good, man. try not to worry about the physical condition of my stuff too much, or at least keeping it look too pretty. I mean, I'm not going around and throwing dirt on it and dragging it through the mud, except on weekends. But I try to just enjoy what I got while I got it and while it works. And stressing myself out about trying to keep it nice and pretty tends to impact my ability to enjoy it otherwise. Oh, the mini is the one next to the... Okay. That makes a lot more sense. If I had better reading comprehension, I probably would have figured that out when you first said it. Do I ever see girls and think I can fit? Kinda, a little bit. I used to. I mean, yeah, actually. But I got married and I had a kid that, I don't really look at girls anymore, you know? Besides, I got too many things to do to be looking at girls. So now, more like she fixed me, man. She fixed me. I wasn't a huge piece of shit, but, you know, I was a piece of shit in my time. Nah, she's busy watching the kid, man. When the kid can fix HomePods, then I'll get everyone on it. The wife can do emails and accounting. The kid can help me pack and ship stuff. And I can focus on fixing them. Ooh, better yet, we can do like a Northridge Fix style kind of family repair shop. And she can be responsible for taking the stuff apart. I don't even take stuff apart anymore. All I do is fix. I look at the board, I fix. You put it together. Big boss. Oh, that kid will learn how to use a soldering iron. I don't care if she wants to do it for fun or as a hobby, but it will be a skill that she will have nonetheless. Let me tell you, it's a whole different kind of world if you can fix your own stuff. Because not only can you fix your own stuff, not only can you fix stuff for other people, but you can buy broken stuff that you didn't have before and fix it. And there you go. You got yourself a deal. That's part of how we got so involved with HomePods here. I got one for myself for my birthday, and I liked it so much that I wanted to get a bunch more of them, but I didn't want to spend the money on it. So I looked into broken ones, and it turns out people were selling broken ones for really cheap. So I bought a bunch of broken ones, and well, the rest is pretty much history. We figured out how to fix those issues and shared that information, and people said, hey, that's really cool, but can I still pay you to fix it instead for me? And that's, you know, That's why I'm not ever worried about sharing any of the info and knowledge that we learn here diagnosing and fixing different issues. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, I might lose a customer by sharing the info and someone deciding to fix it themselves instead of sending it in to us, but chances are the average person either has already decided whether they're going to fix it themselves or not. And the repair info being available and out there or not is usually not the major deciding factor. I mean, heck, I even, like, Tim Star and I made 3D printable USB adapters so that people can restore the software on their HomePods. If you want, you wouldn't have to spend a penny to try a few of these fixes, but there's still people out there that are like, I don't want to deal with any of that. I just want to pay someone that knows what they're doing to do it and have my stuff working again. If the kid fixes my pod, do I get a cheaper price for the service? Absolutely not. You actually pay 2 times. If the kid's working for me, that means I'm paying employees and health insurance and all that, which means the price of everything is gonna go up. So, you will be paying more for your repair if those tiny little hands are at it. All right. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You either want a space gray or dyed sandstone. Ooh, the sandstone always comes out great, but I can usually get most stains and dirt and smudges out if I wash it. But if I'm gonna wash it, you might as well just get it colored.
I'm having trouble connect.
All right. We've got a brick. We've got Chris with a brick here. And then we've got Ed with no power. Let's see what this is doing for us. It should turn on. Yep. Alright, while that's showing us its problems, let's shoot Ed a message and let them know they're the last repair for the day. Number 267. Alright, Ed has been messaged. Oh. Oh. It's disappeared. Hello? Let's double check what Chris said their issue was. Where's my mouse? Number 191. It turns on, but boot loops boots indefinitely, won't set up, etc. Okay, well, it looks like it is reset. Do we get a prompt? We get a prompt. Let me grab my test phone. Okay. The reason why I need my other phone is because my main Apple ID for some reason is unable to set up HomePods. It tends to brick them. All right. Well, I guess let's see where that stops. Let's move on to Ed's. Let's see what's wrong with Ed's while we're waiting for that to recombobulate. And you know, we've got Ed here with us now. Welcome, Ed. Welcome, welcome. What have we got? No lights, no power, no nothing. Okay. Yeah, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little bit of multitasking here. And we'll put Ed right next to Chris here. And we're gonna start working on Chris's we're gonna start working on Ed's here while Chris's is setting up. If it does. Oh, setup failed. That's the error that they were probably seeing. 322202. I have a feeling this is a broken software update. Okay, well, before we crack into Ed's, let's do this. We're going to attach our USB adapter to Chris's HomePod here. If I can find one of my gosh darn dang it freaking. Oh, it's okay. That is all right. Let's get our handy dandy restore dock connected. Let me put myself in Do Not Disturb so people don't dox themselves as they text me. And I'll go ahead and screen share so you guys can see what I'm doing. Assuming my IP hasn't changed. 254, 164. All right, come on. Come on, come on. There we go. Look away. I am entering my password. Okay, you can resume your viewing. I'm going to plug the USB cable in. I'm going to plug power into the HomePod, and we're going to run our magic commands. Gaster pwn, put it in a state that allows us to upload our custom firmware. And we're going to hope that we don't get any errors. It looks like it's going, so we're past the point of most hardware errors. I'm going to put my laptop down to the side. Hopefully I don't disturb that cable and cause an error. Nope, we're good. All right. We're going to continue letting that restore its software in the background because that can take a good 10-20 minutes. And we're gonna crack heads open and get this fixed while we're waiting. You like my funny? I have funny words? I'm funny? You think I'm funny? You think I'm joking here? Oh. Oh, well, maybe the HomePod shouldn't have dressed that way then, huh? Yeah. Apple shouldn't have made it that easy to show the debug port, huh? If they didn't want us finding it and proving that they were lying to their customers, maybe they shouldn't have put it there. Like, I can totally understand some of Apple's perspective with their anti-repair choices. You've got a brand and an image to maintain. But it goes back to, like I was saying earlier, with sharing the information sharing the knowledge that we learn solving all of these issues for these HomePods. I don't care if I lose customers because somebody decided that they can fix it themselves instead of using the info, or they can fix it themselves because I put info on how to do it. I don't care. There's going to be plenty of people out there that want to pay for a repair service anyways. And there's plenty of people out there that aren't going to bother wanting to pay to get it repaired. They're just going to want to replace it anyways. Just as Apple wants. Or at least that's what people think. But I don't know. I guess maybe Apple still assumes or thinks that offering too good of a repair service or repair options for their products would impact their bottom line too much. I don't know. Maybe it's not the bottom line that they care about, and that's not the reason why they don't do things the way that they could. Maybe it's just a matter of extra effort. And it's the opposite but same perspective, where they figure their bottom line won't be affected whether or not they have repair options, so they don't bother. Where is the restore progress at? We are progressing. We're at like 33% on Chris's software restore. Hopefully that's all it needs. Let's see, did Chris opt for the hardware maintenance if it's just a software issue? 191. Yes, okay, so no matter what Chris's HomePod needs, he's paying for it. He opted to get the extra hardware maintenance done to prevent issues like Ed's HomePod here with no power. So if Chris's HomePod is saved with just a software restore, we're still going to open it and replace the same parts that usually go bad. I thought they passed a law recently that required companies to allow consumers to make repairs more easily. To a degree, there was some of that. Biden passed something, but I think that was geared more towards farmers and farm equipment, because we had issues with like people that owned very expensive commercial farm equipment. And the simplest of repairs would require you to pay tens of thousands of dollars to the John Deere dealership to reflash a computer instead of just fixing the thing yourself. I appreciate that. I just wish that I was here doing it and sharing the info sooner. Because I didn't come into the game until 2022, 21 or 22. So there were still 2 or 3 years after the HomePods were released where they had all these issues and nobody knew how to fix them, and people were just replacing them or throwing them away. And that's a real shame for a speaker that Apple spends $250 per unit just in materials. Like, all the little chips and components and speakers cost Apple $249 per HomePod to put together for you. That's not including research and development, shipping, software support, customer service, all of that. That's purely the hardware cost to put these things together. That's insane. They were really counting on people buying a bunch of these and not making money on hardware, but making money on people subscribing to the software services that you needed to really use it, i.e. Apple Music. And if you subscribe to Apple Music, then you're going to slowly get pulled into the bigger Apple One subscription, because if you've already got this, that, and the other thing, might as well bundle it all up, it's really interesting. They spent all this money making some seriously good hardware for the first gen, and then didn't give themselves any room for profits on the hardware, just counted on making money on the subscription side of things. Oh, I love this iron. What a great little soldering iron. What a great little guy. I mean, it's not hard to make a metal stick hot enough to melt some lead and join some parts together. But after using my Weller for as long as I have, this tiny little Pinecil, it just feels nicer. Like I feel like I'm getting better quality out of it than my Weller. Shit, if I'm your dad, then I have to have a conversation with my wife. I can be your HomePod dad, but that's about it. Another 48K dated diode. HomePod dying stream when I'm not dying. I ended up not streaming that pink one. I did color one HomePod yesterday, but it was pink. I ended up not streaming it. I do apologize, Mike, but I will make it up to you. Because Mr. Mike, are you in luck? Not only do I have that spare red top, but I actually have a whole set of red parts that I've just been kind of sitting on. I don't even know why I didn't sell these. They're perfectly fine. So maybe we can make a deal, Mike. Maybe that's the HomePod you're looking for. Maybe you like red more than pink. It looks like either Chris's software restore errored or it finished already. I'm gonna stick this diode on and we'll take a peek. Alright. Restore finished. Okay. Fingers crossed. Ed, you want yours colored? If your black HomePod is in good shape, I can charge you the same amount to color your HomePod as if you had sent in a white one. Because I do say I can only color the white ones. But I only say that because I don't want people sending in a black HomePod and that's in horrible physical condition and expecting me to trade it for a white one. But well, anyways, what I'm getting at is I'm happy to essentially trade your black parts for a set of white parts, and then I'll color those parts for you and send you whatever custom color you wanted back. I won't charge you for replacing the mesh. I'll only charge you for the coloring. So that's the $40. And before anybody asks for discounts on coloring HomePods, before you ask, it takes more time and effort to color a HomePod than it does to fix them. Most of these repairs here, I'd rather do it 10 times over than having to color a HomePod. It's not very fun. So $40 for the amount of time and effort it takes is a good deal, and I won't give any discounts on that. But your black HomePod, this is in great shape. I would be more than happy to trade your space gray parts for white parts and then color those up for as much as I'd charge anyone else with a white pod. Is UPS or USPS better for shipping to me? Shipping to me, there is no difference. You can use UPS or USPS, or heck, you can use FedEx. I mean, if you want, you could drive here and drop it off at the UPS store yourself. They'll take anything that's addressed to me. As far as reliability, I am perfectly happy with both UPS and USPS. They are both excellent services. I tend to be more biased towards USPS simply because it's a government service and they're not a for-profit. Which, as an aside, I always get a little salty whenever people try to make a point of how much USPS isn't making every year, and it's like they're not a business. They're not there to make money for the government. They're there as a service for you. So don't complain about them not making a profit unless you want them to start charging you a bunch more. That said, I have had no problems with UPS or USPS that and I mean, I'm not saying that they haven't lost stuff. But it's very rare. It's really rare for anyone to lose anything, and I generally have the most problems with FedEx. UPS and USPS are A-okay. That said, there's a specific service, UPS SurePost. I don't know how they do it. It's the cheapest. And how it works is you drop it off at UPS, and then UPS takes it most of the way, and then final local delivery is done by USPS. So you involve two different shipping companies, and how is that cheaper than using just one of them? Blows my mind. Yeah, man, don't knock USPS. Now, the Postmaster General, what is his name, DeJoy or whoever? That guy needs to get a new job. And Even that said, I wouldn't hire him. But yeah, treat your postal workers kindly. They're not there to make a profit. Would I hire you? It depends. How long can you hold the hot end of a soldering iron in your bare hands? Yeah, public transit isn't profitable. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Ah. I mean, when I say my wife fixed me, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Because if you had had the same kind of discussion with me when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, I would have been like, oh, they're not making money. We should shut them down. We need to figure out how to blah, 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 whatever, you know. I'd be dumb. But my wife is really awesome in that sense, in that she just has a way of explaining things and helping you understand from a different perspective without making you feel like a piece of shit, you know? She fixed me. Let's see if this sets up now. We should know by the time we get this other one put back together. Combining their locations. Oh yeah. It's still a wild concept to me that the cheapest shipping service involves two carriers playing together. Still kind of bonkers. Kind of crazy. Oh, look at that. It's setting up. Confirmed. Setup error code 30222202 is a software issue. The Apple Store shouldn't have charged anybody any money to fix that, and they should have provided a free replacement. This HomePod is working. And all it took was our fancy handy dandy...
Apple Music 1 now playing.
Yeah, see? It works just fine. Shame on you, Apple. Don't copyright me, I want my money. Shame. You know, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. UPS already has the infrastructure for cross-country shipping. They've probably got a cheaper way to do that than USPS. But USPS has the better infrastructure for localized deliveries. So UPS is cheaper to get things a longer distance, and then USPS is the cheaper to get the short distance. That makes sense to me. I get that. Okay. Thank you for helping me think through that. And that would make the most sense too. Still crazy. Yeah, pennies, especially when you're already doing the trip with a bunch of other packages. Alright, Ed, you are fixed. If you want me to swap this out for white and color it for you, feel free to let me know in our email, or I don't know if I texted you or emailed you, I can't remember, but feel free to bring it up before we ship this back to you.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more...
All right. Let's take a look at the last one here. Yes, surprise, surprise. We have got, let's see, Mike here. I mean, you're chatting with your name, so I'm assuming you're cool with your name being here. Mike here. Let's see, amplifier board. So, Mike here has already done all the hard work for us. They already took their HomePod apart. They even diagnosed the dead diode. If I've got the right email pulled up here. And, you know, despite us putting all that info out there and making it look so easy, Mike couldn't find any shops around him to do something as simple as replace a diode on a board for him. So we'll do that. We can do that for him. More than happy. Let's confirm their diagnosis. We have a 48K dated diode. It is very much dead. Okay. Let's do a little bit of maintenance first and give it some new filters. And then we'll flip it around. Replace that diode. And then we'll test it out and make sure it's all good to go. We gotta make sure this looks extra ugly for Mike here, because he is gonna see it. He's gonna see it, so I want to make this look as bad as possible here. Dang it, that's perfect. Ah, well, I guess I'll just leave it perfect. Maybe I can spit under his amp chip, so that way it works fine for now, and then it takes time to corrode and it breaks, and then he has to send it back to us. This is your chance, folks. Mike likes to poke at you all. Give me ideas to mess with him. We can get back at him. Do I just have a bucket of bad filters? Yes. Yes, I do. I keep all the old filters and all the old diodes. The diodes don't make much sense. I guess it's just sentimental reasons. The filters, however, if they are worth anything, I can recondition them and make them good as new again. Maybe reuse them. But considering some of them were failing as early as a year into production, I don't think they're worth reusing for anything. I guess I'm just keeping it all for the chance that one day I get called into court and they want evidence. But oh yeah, I keep everything that I replace here, I keep all of it. I don't throw anything away. Okay, well, I throw the glue away. Like this, I throw this away, and I throw these away, and that's about it. Everything else I keep. That was my hand. Oof. Okay. Power supply. Screw. Ribbon cable. So we can make everything talk. Display. Logic board. I need... I don't have a power connector. Oh no. Oh no. Kinda need that. Oh, here we go. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. And kablooey. Hey, look at that, we've got power. I'll even grab a tweeter speaker here and line it up so we can make sure we've got fully working sound and all that.
having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
Alright. That is alive and well. Folks, that is all that I've got the time to fix for here and now. Of course, we've got more waiting to get fixed and more that showed up today, but I hope to catch you all in the next one.